So today I'd like to talk to you about my 99 Audi A4 Avant, and this was the first Audi I owned. So let's start with why someone would buy an Audi in the first place, and the answer is all-wheel drive. And I mean, Audi calls it Quattro, but really when I was shopping for a replacement for my last Subaru, and I've had several Subarus, and those were truly four-wheel drive. One had a top of the gear shifter was a push button to engage the four-wheel drive. The other one had a kind of a push pull lever like you see a four-wheel drive truck, and that would take you into four-wheel drive. And that one had low range, which was kind of nice. But when the last Subaru was at end of life, the it would have been a third engine go no, would have been a fourth engine going in, and it was rusted out, so it was time to do something better. And I wanted actual all-wheel drive, and that way it's just engaged all the time. And when I started shopping, I looked at there's a lot of manufacturers now with all-wheel drive, but I thought I wanted a more established all-wheel drive system. So I looked at who had been around and doing it for quite a while. And the answers really come back to Subaru, Audi, and I was considering Mitsubishi. Their Evos have been all-wheel drive for quite a while. But as far as ones you actually see much, it really came to Subaru or Audi. And at the price range that I could afford, you got a lot more bang for the buck with the Audi. Now, that's because I'm looking over 100,000 miles and old enough that the resale on an Audi just sucks. There's no doubt about it. They plummet in value like you wouldn't believe, whereas Subaru really holds its value well. Yeah, let's talk about why Audi drops its value so rapidly. And are they unreliable? Not if you do the maintenance properly, but you have to be meticulous and do exactly what is specified, and then they can be a reliable car. Now, if you try to cut corners, they're garbage. They will break down all the time on you, and that's part of where the resale value drops so much. Now, bear in mind, this car, I mean, I originally spent $7,000 for, and I think one year I had $2,500 just at my cost for parts. And it's an expensive car to maintain and run. But I think it was worth it. I really like this wagon. At the time I needed more of a wagon, four doors, and the space in the back was nice. Now this thing, being a little four-cylinder, was decent fuel economy. It had some good get up and go. Now this is a manual transmission car, which also was one of the factors that I was looking for. And I've put quite a few miles on this car, and it's a nice driving car going down the highway. Wintertime, my biggest concern was always snow drifts. It would go through pretty deep snow. In fact, part of that little video is the last time I had it stuck, and well, it wasn't really stuck. It could go forward and back, but I couldn't turn it to make the turn in my driveway, and ended up realizing that's because the snow was too far up the body. It had no way to turn. And yeah, really impressive car with how it would go. And that's where it did go through drifts okay, just because you're probably going to be making a straight line. But um, ground clearance is only 4.5 inches, and you know, if it's a foot drift, that's you may not make it through. So problems that I've had with this car over the years was, first one was I had a front brake pad shear off. It had just rusted behind where the metal backing plate holds the friction material, and I like the dashboard displayed, you know, brake failure after the pedal went to the floor. And it was kind of like, yeah, I figured that out, but no, all right, it was at least it warranty, I guess. So I also at one point in time had the computer display on the dashboard replaced. It's common for these to have the pixels go out, and it's kind of a quite a to do. There's quite a few small terminals. I found a local shop that specializes in electronic repairs, and in particular, they were advertising online to do this dashboard repair. So I had that done with them and was happy with the results. Haven't had a problem since. So, and then one point I took a picture of the dashboard showing 116 degrees out. That was actually the what we were measuring, and yeah, the AC system was getting weak, so I had actually kind of pushed its pressures up a little bit, and it blew out the back of the compressor at that temperature. So we ended up without AC, and yeah, the underside of this thing glowed with UV light for a long time after that. But yeah, that was the year I spent so much money on repairs. Is that required rebuilding the whole AC system. So the only other failure I can remember was I had replaced a coolant manifold on the back of the engine, just preventative, and I think I was doing some other work back there, but yeah, that made it about a month and then cracked out. So yeah, now the hard part that I have a replacement car is what to do with this one, and it's amazing how little it's worth for how clean of a straight of a car it is, but yeah, it kind of got me thinking I might use it as a track day car until it does give up.